Our great work, I think, looks like this. Number one, we've got to do the hard work of balancing the carbon books. We've got to end carbon as a free gift to industry and to private consumption. But we've got to balance the carbon books. Secondly, we've got to make a rapid transition to efficiency and to renewable energy. We know how to do this. This is not a matter of technology. It's not a matter of economics. It's a matter of willpower and leadership. Thirdly, we've got to create a global bargain. This is not something we can do in the United States alone. We've got to deal with all the world, and hopefully we can lead the world in this direction. But this will be hard bargaining. Got 22 tons of carbon dioxide per person that we release down to 2 tons per person. And that means moving efficiency and renewables as rapidly as possible and making the kind of changes in lifestyle, a phrase I don't much like, it sounds too ephemeral, but we've got to change the way we live and the way we provision ourselves with food, energy, water, and materials. That's a design issue. And then I think we need a whole new way to think about our role in the world. The precautionary principle has more cachet and power, let's say, in Europe than it does in the United States. We have to begin to think about how do we eliminate risk and exposure of risk. What's it mean to be precautionary and cautious relative to technology? And then these words, humility, doesn't play very well in the United States, and fairness and so forth, but we have to begin to create a very different approach. This in every way is an ethical issue. And then Howard Odum, who's one of the great ecological thinkers of the 20th century, died in the late 1990s, but Howard Odum and his brother Eugene were more than anybody else, the fathers of modern ecology. Howard and his wife Elizabeth, before he died, wrote a book called A Prosperous Way Down. We've got to begin to envision a very different world. I think the title is unfortunate, but it's a different way to think about prosperity. We've always known that the growth economy didn't make us happy. So we've seen growth go up like this, but happiness peaked and kind of leveled out about 1957. Isn't that interesting? And so is there a different way to think about how we become prosperous and what this world looks like? And it's a world of front porches and better poetry leagues and baseball and coherent downtowns and local farms and better food. It does not have to be bad. This is not down, it's really kind of sideways. And then finally, let me close with this. I think this is a very different kind of political era. We're asking the President of the United States, the next president, inaugurated in January of 2009, to help lead us in a political renaissance, to see politics not as left versus right, conservative versus liberal, but to take on the national business in a way that brings us together around this great work. We have got to do this. And it's work that is both ethical, it's economic, it's technological, it engages everything that happens at a university or college. But it is the politics of trusteeship. It's the politics of seeing ourselves midway between that distant past and that far future as trustees of this incredibly precious gift that came to us as life. Could we reorganize our politics around the preservation and protection and enhancement of life for as far out in the future as we can possibly think? Thank you very much.